Now, please welcome to the stage Groceryshop's Vice President of Original Content and Strategy, Ben Miller, and Vice President of Content, Rocquan Lucas, to present the Grocery Zeitgeist, preparing the grocery feast of tomorrow.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our Grocery Zeitgeist for 2024.
So over the next 20 minutes, we hope to cook up a veritable insight feast and share with you our recipe for tomorrow's grocery landscape. Now, just as culinary tastes and fashions are ever-changing, so too is our industry. And we'll aim to share the tools, processes, and techniques you need to deliver customer-delighting retail haute cuisine alongside some timeless grocery classics.
This afternoon, we'll be serving our meal in 3 courses: an appetizer of next-generation customer journeys in grocery, a main dish exploring the adjacent revenue stream imperative, and a rich, sweet dessert covering the future role of physical grocery stores. Chef Miller, let's bring out our first course.
Yes, chef. Okay, our appetizer today is no light starter. It boils down directly to one of the key talking points of the show this week: how to drive volume in your stores and for your products. As inflation has fallen like a bad souffle, volume has returned as the key route to unlock growth in our industry. Yet with channel shifts and retailer brand expansion, this critical volume growth is proving hard to grasp for many supermarket and branded CPGs. One route to drive volume is from the opportunities created by the reimagination of the customer journey. A customer's path from discovering a brand to consideration, purchase, and eventually loyalty is more complex than ever. The old purchase funnel, which has successfully guided brand and trade marketers for many years, was always a convenient oversimplification, but now it increasingly feels like ancient history. A number of forces are driving this, yet one is having greater impact than all the others, especially in grocery, and as the continued transformation of the global media landscape. Here, old school, mass market broadcast media, whilst still being effective for specific use cases, continues to see advertising spend being gobbled up by the meteoric rise of digital marketing. And within digital content, people are seeking out quick hit, highly personalized, short form video and visuals. This has driven TikTok's rapid rise and the continued growth of Instagram and Pinterest. Shoppers are increasingly discovering, evaluating, and now also purchasing in the same social platforms. It's an opportunity highlighted by Amazon's recent partnerships with Pinterest, Snap, and TikTok. Right now, beauty brands are leading the way commercializing this, often working with creators to drive impulse, and there's a lot to learn from them. Meanwhile, moments like the recent Clean Talk craze demonstrate the applicability for more CPG categories. The third big media shift, one especially relevant to grocery and one that there has been no escaping this week, is the advertising spend increasingly flowing into retail media. In the US alone, eMarketer now forecasts the spend on retail media is set to overtake spend on linear TV advertising next year. Retail media has become an ever-present ingredient in today's grocery landscape, a component of every meal, even when least expected, and there's no escaping its impact. Brought together, all these forces are powering new routes to engage and excite shoppers, and the path to purchase is now more like an infinite loop of inspiration, exploration, advocacy, and loyalty. At our Shop Talk shows earlier this year, we began exploring how retailers and brands can take advantage of these forces to influence shoppers, create demand, and drive volume. Firstly, in-store retail media will create new ways to influence shoppers at the physical point of purchase. New advertising routes on screens, apps, or ads on smart carts. Retail media has traditionally focused at the lower parts of that purchase funnel, nudge tactics around planned shops and encouraging switching. Yet as the funnel collapses, in-store retail media has a significant role to play in awareness and brand building. Getting your products noticed and driving new impulse occasions. And the physical store is a great place to immediately convert discovery to purchase. It was twice as effective than in an online store. The challenge now around such off-site media is about how we measure attribution. But next generation demand creation stretches well beyond retail media. Gamification of platforms to create shopper engagement and unlock product trial is another tactic being brought in store from the online environment. Like this game seen recently in an autonomous Żabka store in Poland, which offers a deep discount on a surprise impulse product. To unlock the social commerce and shoppable media opportunity in our sector, content needs to be fun and bite-sized and authentic. Connected TV will bring new opportunities for CPGs, coupling the historic strength of television in building mass-market consumer brands with the efficient targeting, conversion, and attribution ecosystem potential of retail media. Generative AI has the potential to create new, personalized digital interfaces and tools that blur discovery and conversion. And finally, we're seeing CPG brands learning from other retail categories where cross-category brand and celebrity collaborations drive demand, can bring new shoppers into a category and generate excitement and FOMO. Retailers and brands are also using drops and limited time deals from small production runs to bring increased excitement, manage inventory, often at an increased margin. So before we leave this topic, here's our 3 takeaways on next generation customer journeys. Firstly, the purchase funnel is ancient history. So tracking and understanding the interconnected purchase web of how consumers are encountering, learning about, and shopping your categories today is crucial. Secondly, shoppers have moved from consumption to consideration faster than ever. All elements of today's marketing should therefore be shoppable, ensuring physical stores have digital touchpoints. And finally, high consideration categories like apparel and beauty are already taking advantage of changing shopper behaviors to grow volume by adopting a range of new value creation strategies. So ensure you are looking beyond your peers for inspiration and learning. Chef Lucas, you're up.
Thanks, Chef. While Chef Miller's delectable appetizer highlighted the ways you can use demand creation tools to drive volume, our main course focuses on the need to look beyond traditional commerce and beyond traditional trade to deliver business growth. The reason why we believe new adjacent revenue streams is so important means that we should also just take a quick look at the growth of e-commerce. eMarketer estimates that online grocery will account for 19% of total US e-commerce sales in 2026. Surpassing apparel and consumer electronics. It's this growth that continues to put pressure on groceries' wafer-thin margins and has led to increased costs from picking, packing, and delivery. In fact, grocer net margins are declining in all markets. FMI states they average just 1.6% in the US. And in markets with the highest e-commerce penetration, the decline is even more pronounced. Through research in partnership with Deloitte, we found that in the UK, average listed grocer margins fell from 2% in 2015 to just 0.9%. But we believe that there are 4 elements to spice up profitability amongst the rising costs of growing e-commerce penetration. Firstly is basket size and mix. Obviously, larger baskets spread delivery costs further, and promotions or AI-enabled suggestions can prioritize more profitable items. Secondly is operational efficiencies. Retailers must continue to identify savings that can be squeezed and leverage technologies that drive efficiencies such as pick-to-light optimization. Third is scale, particularly growing order density and having proper route optimization tools in place for efficient last-mile delivery. And finally, that 4th component brings us back to adjacent revenue streams. And it's this lever that is undoubtedly generating the most focus across the industry. Amongst several adjacent revenue streams for retailers to consider, that star ingredient is yet again retail media. Our work with Deloitte also identified the potential margin gains that can come from retail media. So let's say a $10 billion grocer, a retail media business of $200 million could potentially double the total business net margin, creating an opportunity to distribute back to shareholders or invest back into the retail business. So that makes the P&L imperative very clear. But while the opportunity is massive, there are significant challenges that remain for retail media, as some CPGs see the proliferation of networks as creating new sales taxes. So to unlock these major financial benefits, adjacent revenue services like retail media must add real value to the customers. We've identified 4 secret sauces to value creation for grocery retailers seeking to unlock the margin potential of retail media. Firstly, it's capability. Mars United Commerce, a commerce marketing firm working with various consumer goods brands, tracks 82 different retail media capabilities. And it's their extensive retail media report card that highlights just how closely CPGs are monitoring the functionality and capability of retail media networks to determine their investment levels. Highly sought after capabilities include site transparency, the ability to adhere to brand safety requirements, and the ability to attribute both on-site and off-site media. Secondly, scale. Media buyers often prioritize the scale of audience reach, which therefore benefits larger retailers. And so we expect to see consolidation of retail media networks via regional partnerships and platform aggregators. Thirdly, unique audience reach. Pure scale alone is not sufficient, as even the largest retail media networks lack the reach of popular social networks or other types of media. However, it's the proximity of retail media to point of purchase and the ability to help brands reach unique or specialist audience that can be that key benefit. And finally, in-store. The biggest value creation opportunity for grocers lies in unlocking the store portfolios. While retail media is dominating the adjacent revenue discussion, we would be remiss to not cover a second area that's receiving much focus, which is the commercialization of technology solutions developed in-house to sell to other retailers. These tools are often focused on back office and supply chain processes that unlock operational efficiencies. And it's a trend that appears to be benefiting the smallest and the largest retailers most. Mm-hmm. Larger retailers receive that additional margin boost, and smaller retailers can gain access to industry-leading solutions that could have been beyond the scope of their internal development budgets or capabilities. And for mid-sized retailers, it's a little bit of a harder space to benefit from. It's also encouraging new levels of international collaboration as retailers increasingly seek to sell outside of their home retail markets. So before we clear our main course plates, here are 3 takeaways on the adjacent revenue streams imperative. As e-commerce penetration rises, so too is the cost pressure it creates for retailers. Adjacent revenue streams, especially retail media, is emerging as the primary route retailers are using to manage this impact, though it's not an opportunity open to all. Adjacent revenue streams will only deliver in the long term if they create value for customers. At the same time, retailers must also deliver on the needs of CPGs to ensure the opportunity is a win-win for everyone. And thirdly, retailers must be clear on the long-term value creation strategies and prioritize routes to enable them.
Thank you, Rock. So for our dessert this afternoon, we have a real treat: the future role of the physical grocery store. Grocers' portfolios of physical stores are both their largest capital investments, but also their most powerful assets. So in light of changing channel dynamics and shoppers' hunt for value, how should grocers be maximizing the returns in the future from their physical store estates? So we've identified a sweet platter of 4 components: collection, convenience, content, and community. Firstly is the store's role in enabling collection and distribution of e-commerce orders. Grocers' networks of physical stores are distribution hubs with inventory located close to the customer, incredible assets for e-commerce. The debate continues to raise as to what the most profitable route for fulfilling e-commerce in grocery is. And recently, the pendulum has swung back more in favor of store pick models that require less capex. Now, there really is no one-size-fits-all solution, and all options have their sweet spots, with detailed network mapping required to determine when to invest and which fulfillment mechanism to use. Increasingly, though, a recipe is emerging, and like any tried and tested classic, you just can't skip stages. Your bread simply will not rise if you haven't first let it prove. So for grocers with a physical store portfolio, the first step of the recipe is maximizing the store pick by optimizing manual store assets. Only progress once this is as efficient as possible, and invest in automation only once order densities reach a sufficient level. Then, when store space allows, micro-fulfillment unlocks semi-automated pick rates in excess of 3 times the store pick model. We've seen more interest of late in this model. But the key success here is integration into existing store systems and with existing store management. And at the final stage, dedicated and automated e-com fulfillment centers provide access to geographies where the physical store portfolio cannot, either due to location or capacity constraints. Another process grocers must master is optimizing collection processes, either directly by consumers through curbside or by third-party delivery partners. Following the rapid deployment of curbside solutions during the pandemic, retailers are now integrating dedicated collection points into their physical store designs. And with curbside offering a more profitable solution than home delivery, it's incumbent on retailers to continue to improve the customer experience here to drive adoption. So this could include using premium locations rather than, say, the back of a parking lot, dedicated collection times to prevent queues, dedicated staff or protection from the weather. Meanwhile, innovations like the integration of Starbucks with Target's curbside program illustrates the impulse opportunities that can be unlocked. Now, the second future role of physical grocery stores is to double down on the convenience that they offer to shoppers. This is both in ensuring the shops are as convenient an experience as possible, from ease of access to ease of finding products, but also offering convenience to shoppers in the products that are merchandised, from food service through to meal deals.
Chef, I'd love to help out and put the finishing garnish and cherry atop this excellent dessert, if that's okay.
Yay.
All right, so our third component reflecting the future role of the store is content. And here we're emphasizing the role of physical grocery stores as a marketing channel. Ben talked earlier about the store's role in product discovery and shopper decision-making. And of course, this is not a new concept, as trade marketing is a well-established discipline. But the opportunity here lies in unlocking physical stores as digital marketing channels that are then linked to retailers' wider retail media networks. Across grocery, we are seeing retailers trial the hardware needed to enable this, such as smart carts, electronic shelf labels, digital display screens, and advertising and gamification integrated into checkouts. Planned rollouts of these technologies have even been more particularly noteworthy given that the investment climate for retail tech continues to tighten. So Walmart, for example, is taking a major bet on digital shelf labels with plans to bring this technology to over 2,300 US stores by 2026. While the digital media opportunity is a key consideration for CapEx decision-making, of course, technologies that also deliver efficiency gains and provide a short payback period are being prioritized by grocery retailers as well. And finally, as grocery stores are frequently the largest businesses and employers in their neighborhoods, they play a significant social and economic role in the communities they serve. Physical grocery stores of the future will continue to lean into this, providing community services and support to build and strengthen loyalty among their shoppers. So here's our 3 takeaways on the sweet treat that is the future role of physical stores. Firstly, in an environment where CapEx is constrained, grocers are focused on maximizing the returns from their physical store portfolios. Secondly, the physical store should be viewed as a critical marketing channel for retailers and CPGs alike, one uniquely placed to capitalize on the collapsed path to purchase. To unlock this, investment in digital assets and internal organizational alignment is required. And thirdly, your physical store will increasingly be at the heart of your e-commerce fulfillment strategy, fully integrated into both physical store design, store systems, and management structures.
So with empty plates and clear cutlery, we hope you've enjoyed this dining experience with us and you feel suitably sustained and nourished to help your businesses win in the grocery ecosystem of tomorrow. So before you all retire for coffee or a digestive, a reminder of our menu today. We see opportunities lying in understanding next generation customer journeys, unlocking value in adjacent revenue streams, and the evolving role of the future physical grocery store.
Bon
Bon appetit.